Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. And tonight we have another Wednesday edition of This Week in Pali Football. So join me in a couple of minutes. Coach Smith will join me and we will recap the wonderful game that was the homecoming game against Venice. We'll talk about that, and then we'll preview the upcoming game against University High. So on the other side of the intro, we'll have all those good things coming together. So thank you for joining us tonight, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Pali Football.
Hey, win on me, win on three, ready, 1, 2, 3. Win! Yeah! Stop playing with a P! 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 Stop playing with a P!
Some call it the gridiron.
Nice route, way to skim it.
Others, 100 yards of pain.
Too much.
We just like to call it football.
Football.
With Facebook James.
Football, baby.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the show. Another Wednesday edition, or should I say, a Wednesday edition of This Week in Pali Football. I had a wonderful situation to go down this past Monday, so we couldn't go live. So talked to Coach Smith, and so here we are today, this wonderful Wednesday evening. So thank you for joining us. I see we have Big Devron Kearney in the house. He says this week we bounce back, mental toughness, hard work, and dedication. Let me get some stuff right here together so that it's not all big and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you being here, Mr. Kearney. And yeah, this is the bounce back week. And if you really look at, our losses, we've had some close games with our losses. We lost this game, unfortunately, to Venice on homecoming night by 1 point, 45-44. And then we had that nail biter second overtime or two overtime, a loss to Brentwood, 30-33. So, we've been in there. We've been in there doing our thing. And so, I know a lot of times we put a lot of pressure on our guys to play as hard as they can, and I'm sure they played hard as they can. As hard as they could have this coming Friday. We were just on the opposite end of winning. So hopefully, like Devron Kearney said, we can bounce back, get some mental toughness, and we can go into uni, do what we need to do, handle business over there, and then also come back home for our final home game next week against Hamilton. And so that'll close out the season. But, we don't want to talk all about that just yet. We want to go ahead and have a wonderful conversation. So we're going to invite Coach Smith, and there we are. What's going on, Coach? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. How you doing tonight?
Man, it must have been a rough couple of days, man. Just the loss that we suffered. I mean, it was a wonderful game. It was a wonderful game. Our players, our skill position players, they showed up and showed out, did what they needed to do. We were just missed it by that much. So hopefully you've had a couple of days to kind of recuperate and reflect on the game. And, I'm glad I didn't catch you Monday, because I know Monday you still would have felt some kind of way. So I'm glad we added a couple of days for you to kind of just get prepared to kind of discuss with the public, kind of what happened on Friday night. So let's go ahead and hop into it, Coach. Friday homecoming night, a wonderful game. And I'm sure you could attest to just the magnitude of the game, it being homecoming, a rivalry game. What was it the few days leading up to the homecoming game? Were the boys ready? Do you think they were prepared mentally? Just kind of give us your overall viewpoint of how they prepared for the Venice football game.
Well, I thought that we prepared pretty well. Obviously, when it's homecoming week, there's a lot of distractions. So you just have to keep them focused on the game, even though, they're thinking about the dance, the parties, all the activities. leading up to it or afterwards. So you just have to just keep reminding them that we have a game to work on. But I thought up until Thursday we did a really good job of focusing. The kids knew their assignments. Uh, I thought Monday and Wednesday was a really good practice. Tuesday and Thursday, not so much. But I thought at least leading up to the game, we were prepared. Friday, I thought we were a little distracted. It's been a while since we had a JV game before us, so things were kind of off track for the last couple of weeks, and then we got back to our routine. But just something just felt a little off, on our pregame and our walkthrough. But we came out fast. We scored on the opening drive. We were up 17-7. So when the game started, we were good. We just kind of let a lot of things happen in the second half that unfortunately got us the loss.
I kind of like the way that we started the game. Of course, I think we Venice won the coin toss, and so they deferred to the second half, which meant we got the ball. And out the gate, I mean, I think we've scored within the first 5 plays or so. Able to get in there, kind of like a hurry up kind of situation. Just kind of, talk us through just the intensity and just, them really being focused for that first drive because we got the ball first. We were able to try to set the tone. So just kind of talk about what went through those first few plays leading up to our initial touchdown.
Well, I thought we can get out fast. We went empty the first play. We put our 5 fastest guys on the field and just tried to spread them out. And we thought we could match up athlete for athlete, speed for speed. And Jack made 2 really good reads leading up to that. We had a long throw to Henry. And then Harrison did his thing, getting his yards. And then, we punched it in. We came back again, did the same thing. But so we thought we could play fast, tire them out early, just use our speed to really, confuse them. Or we knew they were going to play man, so we knew we matched up well. Second quarter, we kind of hit a snag, but I thought we played a really good, solid first half, and second half we just, obviously couldn't stop them. But we matched up with them offensively, point for point.
No, absolutely. You talk about the first quarter. We ended up scoring 7 points. We ended up scoring 14 points. They had 7 points, and then at halftime, we are up 17-7. So you think about just our ability to kind of make some good plays. I know the boys are trying to score on every play, make a spectacular highlight. But going into the halftime, I mean, you kind of think that, okay, the momentum, we kind of got it. Things are going great. And one of the things that I did like that I noticed in the first drive was just your ability to not let the defense get set. And I think when you initially had that rushing touchdown, I'm not too sure. I think it was Jack, who got that. You didn't let their defense set, and I think you also did that near at some point in the second half. Was that something that you saw on the sideline, or was that something that you kind of wanted to go with, and you communicated that to the boys prior to playing the game?
Well, we actually worked on it a few weeks ago. We called it, I think, the Westchester game. We did it once or twice. So it's been a call we've had, I think, since the Brentwood game. So it's just one call. They call it out. We line up in whatever formation and run the play. So it's just something we've been working on. If we get, short yardage, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, or right there on the goal line, it's a one-word call, and we hurry up before they get set. So yeah, it's something we've been doing well for the last few weeks.
And it seemed to work out because, from my vantage point, the defense wasn't set, especially on that initial drive. They weren't set, and it's like, okay, let's go with the hurry up, fast-paced offense, and you guys caught them off guard, and went on and scored. And again, I can't remember at what point in the second half, but you guys kind of did that the same thing, You did it once again in the second half, and so going into halftime, man, that's it's like, okay, we got the momentum, it's looking good. Within that third quarter hit, and before we hop into all of the particulars about the third quarter. I do want to show these some of these wonderful stats here because I mean, it was a wonderful game, and you had a lot of skill positions. Just do some great things. So let me come over to my wonderful shared screen here, if I can find it. Let's go use this one right here. Okay, there we go, Coach. So if you can see, hopefully. Looking at total plays, 76 as opposed to 73 for Venice. First downs, pretty much tied. Penalties, a big thing, and I think that's probably the third week in a row where we've had 10 plus penalties. And so, as a viewer, as a supporter, I'm like, okay, y'all boys, y'all got to get it together and not have so many penalties. They had 5, we had 13, and then I think before pregame we were talking about the discrepancy in the penalty yards. Steve Galuzzo, the reporter for Palisadian Post, he was like, they had 130 yards. So I'm not too sure if this is accurate. What are your thoughts on just the whole penalty situation and how it continues to be something that the team needs to get better on week after week?
Well, I mean, a lot of it was cleaned up. So for weeks prior, we had a lot of holding calls. I don't think we had one holding call Friday. So we cleaned that part of it up. We focused, especially on our scrambling drill. When Jack gets out, guys get away from our whole linemen and want to, reach and hold. So we worked on that last week and it worked out. We cleaned that up. A few of those penalties were phantom calls. There was a face mask penalty that was not a face mask penalty. There was a call on one of our guys who got punched and they called it on us because they said he had knocked the guy over. So there was, that's 30 yards right there in penalties. So the numbers look worse than what they actually really were watching the film and, thinking back. But we, like I said, we did clean up a lot of the penalties. A few of them, obviously, we still need to clean up a little bit more, especially with the pass interference calls we get pretty much every week. So, it's not like we don't work on it. We just have to just keep, pounding the guys and, redoing it if they do something wrong, if they get out of technique, and just, keep teaching them. And we just got to clean it up before playoffs because once playoffs comes, it's going to hurt us.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why I mention that is because, near the end of the game or at the end of the game, you had folks, yelling some of their thoughts and, kind of want to address it at the tail end in terms of, who won or lost the game for the boys. And so, I kind of wanted to address that you guys are working on, different things during the game or during the practice time leading up to the game. It's just not where you don't practice. You do practice. And to your point, you cleaned up one area, but then again, a second area, something else pops off. And so, and then, also remember, Coach, in terms of the penalties, there was a blatant hold somewhere in the second half of the game where it was a hold on Venice, and like the whole coaching staff on our side was like, hey, that's a hold. I think it was hold on number 55 at one point when they
55.
were driving near. Yeah.
Three plays in a row. He literally tackled, grabbed a guy by the collar, brought him down, tackled another guy. I mean, 3 plays in a row. I'm not going to say that's what lost the game, but, in a crucial moment like that, when we're getting calls, that could have took him back. I mean, 3 holding calls in a row, that's 30 yards that could have been back. That helps us from them scoring. So, we can't do anything about the refs. We just, like I tell the kids, we just got to play our game. Don't worry about what the refs are doing. We can't be in the middle of a play and stop playing because we think we're held. That's not going to help us because if they're not going to call it, we just got to fight through it and play.
Yeah, there's old saying, play to the whistle. And so, don't pause. You wait for the, ref to do his thing, call the whistle, blow the whistle, and, make those things happen. So just going back to, the time of possession, and I'm hoping that this is, an accurate time possession stat here. So it says 15:38 for us, 27-18. Now, I know they did have some long drives, and we kind of talked about it before, pregame. Our defense was, well, actually on both sides, because, when you have a score 45-44, defense is being played, but it's not being played at a premium. It's just like, okay, we gonna play a little defense, but yet the offense, both offenses were clicking and scoring often, scoring fast, especially in the second half. If we look further more into where's that stat right here? If you look in the third quarter, Venice scored 17 points. We had 14, and in that final quarter, they were able to score 21 points, and we were able to score 14, which gave us the final 45-44. So just kind of talk about some of your players who stood out during the football game. I know we have some of our usual suspects, usual players that we kind of talk about during this time. So, I think we talked about Jack and just his ability to kind of find the open man. He ended up having over 300 and something passing yards. So just, again, kind of throw some love his way, and just his ability to continue to play at a high level and execute plays, against the defense for Venice.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, he's a playmaker. The best ability he has is to be able to scramble and extend plays. If somebody's he's sitting in the pocket, if he doesn't see it, he gets out of the pocket, he makes the play longer, he gets guys open. It's hard to cover somebody for 5 or 6 seconds. So when he gets outside of the pocket and he's moving, scrambling around those guys, we have fast receivers, and we work scramble drill every single week. So guys know where to go. They know where to find the open hole. He's very patient. He waits for it. And he's able to, he has the arm strength to get it, wherever he needs to. And, as you saw in that one play, I think it was the fourth quarter, when he got a tip and he caught the ball and ran it for a touchdown. I mean, that's the type of plays he's able to make. And to have a quarterback like that, it really helps the offense move.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite play of the game. I mean, the guy is scrambling. You need a touchdown. And so what happens, he throws, it gets tipped. He catches his own, he's like a pass, a deflected pass from Jack to Jack, and he goes in for the touchdown. I mean, that was like a remarkable play. I mean, by any, so I was just like, what, this dude is the real deal. Let's see here. Okay, so it just stopped. All right. So I think we might be good. Daryl, do me a favor. Just keep checking the Pali This Week in Pali Football to see if we're live.
You're on YouTube?
Yeah, because it says we reconnected. So looks like we got 3 people watching. So sorry about that, guys. Looks like my internet went crazy for a hot second, but we were talking about just Jack's ability to kind of make some things happen. 22, 40, 390 yards, 17 yards per play, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, as long as one was 54 yards. And then, I have to just kind of mention our opponent, Jaden Noel over there, 26 of 35, 314. So, again, when you're talking about just the competitiveness that we have in this rivalry, the players are going to show up, and Venice definitely showed up, and they made it an interesting football game, and unfortunately we didn't come out the way we wanted to. But again, giving some of our athletes love. Harrison Carter, 16 carries for 138 yards, 8.6 yards per carry. Longest is 36. Coach, just continue. Go ahead. Let's show some love again to Harrison, and just, I think this was probably his first game over 100 yards all season, and so, let's give the workhorse some love, man. Just his ability to kind of get open, do what he does. He can do it, running, receiving, kick return. Let's go ahead and show him some love right now, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, he does it all. I call him Demarius Thomas, the one from Oregon a couple of years ago, when he was just in the backfield, running motions and receiving, kick return. I mean, he was doing it all. And I told him before the season starts, I said, watch highlight tapes of him or watch film of him, because that's how I kind of want to use you. And I mean, he's taking the ball and I mean, when he gets angry, you want to feed him because he there's nobody stopping him or bringing him down when he gets upset. So we still try to tone him down and calm him down a little bit, but when he gets that look in his eyes, he wants the ball and he makes plays every single time. And that kickoff return, we really needed a spark, and he took it I think down to the 20, and then we ended up scoring on that drive. So I mean, he really does it all.
Yeah, okay. I was just double checking, making sure we were still connected to the live stream. Okay, so no, man. I mean, and I can tell a couple of times he was frustrated because things weren't going his way. Of course, it's a rivalry game, and he was just letting all of his emotions show. And so, I think that was a true mark of a sportsman. Guy who really wants to play hard, who wants to win, and he definitely leaves it all on the field. So, congratulations, Harrison. And then receiving. I mean, on both ends. Actually, let me go back to our competitor because Joshua Aaron. And the reason why I want to go back to this, there was a comment made to me at halftime by one of the players. But again, 21 carries, 113 yards. His longest was 17, and he had one touchdown. Which again, our defense was on the field a whole bunch of time. And I know they were tired, coach. And so again, we had a final score 45-44. And they had some competitors, and maybe let me get your thoughts on this. I talked to one of the players during halftime, and he was like, "Look, man, we are out there." A defensive player, he's like, "Look, we're out there, we're playing hard," and he said, "I think we kind of underestimated the skills of the Venice players." What about you? Do you think you underestimated the skills or the ability for our boys to make defensive plays? Were those guys, from Venice, were they taller? Were they faster? Because that was one of the things the player said. He's like, you know what? We underestimated because they're a little bit faster than we thought they were. Coach, I would love to hear your insight in terms of just their ability to, kind of make plays on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. That Venice always has athletes, and I think they didn't have some of the guys early on in the season. They end up getting them back, but they always have somebody. Angelo always reloads. He's a great coach. He knows how to use his skill guys very well. Um, you know, he his past concepts, are great. So we never go into at least I don't go into a game underestimating anybody. I don't care who we're playing. We treat them the same every single game the same. Whether we're playing Uni, we treat Uni the same way as we would Brentwood. That's why I was proud of the kids to speak of how we practice because they don't see Uni as this game that we're going to win by 90. They fought hard, so we never underestimate anybody. And we prepared like we were going to see on Friday night. So a little surprised to hear that they underestimated them. I don't want to know who said that, but uh, but no, I mean we always try to prepare for everybody the same. And Venice is a rivalry game. I told them it doesn't matter. It's homecoming. It's a rivalry. They're going to come in here and try to take away what we took away from them last year, the league title and their homecoming. So um, whoever said that, we just gotta never underestimate an opponent again.
Yeah, coach. I'm not going to tell you who. I will tell you one of your starters, but I'm not going to tell you who. But no, and he was just, and I can appreciate just his evaluation of the game so far. Now, he didn't say that he was gonna, roll over and let them run over. Nah, he's just like, look, them some fast dudes, and it could be, we could attribute it to, them getting some players back, like you said, and so, but no, I mean, with the score being 45-44, going down to the last few seconds, I mean, it's clear, that we know how to score. It's clear that they know how to score as well. And it's funny because at the end of the game, I know you guys were kind of talking to the boys. It's like, look, you you got to practice and play, and you got to work hard or whatever. But for me, and I was glad I saw a change of momentum, because at one point it seems like our guys kind of gave up a little bit. They were, hanging their heads kind of low. They weren't kind of into the game, and I think this is probably when at the maybe somewhere in the second half, at the end of the first half, all the way into the beginning of the second half of the football game, it just seems like our boys really didn't believe in themselves. Their morale was kind of low, but they were able to turn it around and get their rears in gear and make a wonderful game out of it. Just talk about their resilience to not just lay down. On a homecoming night, they kind of got down a couple of times, but then they kept tying the game up and playing with their might. And so just kind of talk about the resiliency that this football team has that played on Friday night against Venice.
Well, I think it started from summer. There was a game in the seven on seven league Culver City tournament. We played Torrance, and I think we lost in the last seconds. And I told them, look, the game is never over until the clock, hits zero. We got to play 48 minutes. We preached that all season. And even during halftime, even though we were up 17-7, I said, this game is not over. We got to play 48 minutes. They're going to come back. They're going to chip away. They're going to try. We have to keep it up. And, they came back. Obviously, when you're up and things don't go your way, it's easy to put your head down and kind of all the energy kind of leaves your body. But I credit the coaches always keeping those guys ready to play, and when the sideline's quiet, there's always somebody on the sideline saying, hey, this game's not over. Let's go. Keep it up. And we have good leaders and good coaches who try to keep that energy up all the time. We have an explosive offense. We can always score at any time, I feel like. So even if we're down 14 or it's tied or down 7, we can always strike, 2 or 3 touchdowns in a couple of minutes. So I think the team understands that. The defense sees our offense every day. They see how we could score in seconds. So I think they believe, and they're starting to believe, that the game is never over until the clock hits zero.
No, absolutely, man. And I'm so glad that they didn't just, sulk and put their head down, but they continued to play. And I would just like to see them being more consistent with calling like the run pass on the sideline and being really engaged and not, there's, it's a football game. So you're going to have a momentum, kind of swing back and forth. But ultimately, our guys, just, a supporter's, opinion, they need to not have their head down, keep their head in the game. And like you said, wait until the final whistle is blown, and then that's when you can be like, okay, you can cheer, or once you win, or you can feel whatever emotion that you need to feel after loss. Of course, this particular loss brought about so many emotions. For me, I love to see, and I want to go back to some of the players, some of the skilled players. I'm glad that King Demetrius was able to get some love, make some things happen during the game. And so, just shout out to him. 7 receptions for 126 yards. He had a touchdown pass. Max Hajazi was in there as well. He caught a quick pass. The Henry, Harrison again, just all of these guys. And when I'm looking at it, and I think we've talked about it before, all of these guys are juniors except for Max and Amari. So it's like, man, okay, we're building on something, right? We're building on something. And so, I was just so happy to see King kind of get his head back in the game. I know he kind of, he was playing the previous games, but he wasn't doing King stuff. You know what I mean? And so just talk about his contribution to the football game and just what he meant. And I know he's not one to kind of, looking, being happy to kind of pad his stats, because ultimately, if he had to trade receiving yards for a win, I know this guy, he would definitely trade his receiving yards for wins. So just kind of talk about his contribution and, ultimately having a kind of like a breakout game against Venice.
Yeah, King's another one who's really passionate about football. He doesn't I'm proud of the way he's really responded from last year to this year, just maturity on the field. Last year on the field, if something didn't go his way, he would, maybe throw a tantrum, throw his helmet, get really upset. This year, you know, he doesn't get upset. He shows passion, but it's not the tantrum or the throwing of the helmet or the yelling. He's being positive. He's encouraging other kids, other players on the team. If he's on the sideline, he's always encouraging somebody. Even in practice, when he's out, somebody doesn't know a route, he's always behind them, telling them the route. Even though sometimes he doesn't know his, but he's always helping somebody, with their route. And he's been a real good leader as well. Just really proud of everything he's done on the field, and he's been battling injuries all season long, and you wouldn't know it. Just when he's on the field, he goes 100%. And I can't say enough about him. He's not a selfish person. If he needs to block down the field, he'll block. If he's only getting 2 catches, he's like, Coach, what can I do to impact the game? He's blocking for his teammates, and he's not one of those guys. If he gets 1 catch and we win, he's sulking. If he gets 1 catch and we lose, he's like, he texts me the next day, Coach, what can I do to get better? That's at Venice after on Saturday morning. He's like, Coach, I'm sorry. He had a fumble. He's like, Coach, I'm sorry. You know, I won't. I'm gonna do better. Didn't point the blame at anybody. I told him, like, it's not your fault we lost. We had a lot of different things that happened. It's not all on you. It's on everybody. I told him it's on me as well. So he's matured a lot this past year.
Yeah, I like that. He takes ownership of just his actions, and he's consistently asking what can he do to get better. And yes, it's not only on him. There was a couple of other miscues. And I'm gonna call my nephew's name out because I'm quick to give him love, but Henry, not not my son, my nephew. He did have a dropped kick return or something like that, a fumble a little bit, and so it's a team effort, right? And so yeah, the skill positions, they kind of take the brunt of when something like that happens, they're going to take it personal because it was something that they did. But they have a band of brothers who are going to continue to fight and scratch and claw. And so yeah, you could think about that one time. Think about it, get it out your mind, because there's other plays that are upcoming, and we need the boys, we need their heads in the game, and not for them to consistently reflect on the mishap that happened. We want them to kind of think about what's going to happen, especially if there's a whole bunch of time left to go in such a wonderful game that we played. And then, I know we kind of gave the offense some love. I want to talk about some of the defensive players as well. So if I go down and pull up my defensive or the defensive stats from Max Preps, let's talk about some of our defense. Now, I know, again, according to Max Preps, they were on the field for quite some time, 27 minutes as opposed to 15 minutes for our offense. So, but again, Jake, Cash, these guys are out there. Jaden, they're out there doing their thing, making things happen in the trenches. Playing hard, playing fast, and Connor as well. And so, and you see a whole bunch of other, stats or tackles. 1, 4, 5, 8, 3. It doesn't matter. These boys are still engaged, but Venice just had just a little bit more, 1 point more effort than we did. And so, let's kind of talk about just the ending of the game. It was a wonderful game. And I kind of told the players, I was like, look, or the viewers, it's like, look, okay, I think even in the third quarter, it's like, okay, if it comes down to a tie game at the, near the end of the football game, what do you do? Do you go ahead and go for the PAT, or do you go for the 2-point? And lo and behold, as we kind of got into the fourth quarter, that same scenario popped up. And it was interesting because I don't think anyone answered my question. I think one of the alumni, older gentleman from Richard, who graduated in the 1960s, he was on the sideline and he kind of heard me. He was like, oh no, I go for 2. And so, I think he was the only one that kind of made that comment. It's like, okay, if he gets tied up, and he got tied up. And so kind of talk about your thought process in going for, I think you went for 2, right, Coach, to win the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So just kind of
Yeah.
talk about your thought process and why you wanted to go the 2 points instead of, going for the PAT and the tie.
Initially, I wanted to go for 1, to be honest with you. Um, and then as we scored, the defensive coaches was like, we should go for 2. Our defense been on the field all game long. And then so then I thought about it's like, let's get off the field. Let's win this game and get off. So I was okay with the decision. So I just kind of asked everybody else, it's like, should we go for 2? Everybody on that sideline said, let's go for 2. I turned my head and everybody's holding up 2 points. So I said, hey, we're going for 2. Everybody wanted to do it. I'm going to trust the people who've been on the kids who've been on that field. I mean, literally their blood, sweat, and after the game, their tears were on that field. So if they want to go for 2, I was going to let them win the game. And so that was kind of the decision I made. Obviously, in hindsight, we should have went for 1, kicked the PAT, saw what happened in overtime. But after even it being brought up to me, let's go for 2. Instantly, I said, yeah, let's do it. And then I asked everybody else. It was 100%. Let's go for 2. Now I didn't necessarily agree with the play call. I did want to go with another play call. The kids, I'm not blaming the kids at all. The kids, we've run this goal line play a lot in practice. We hadn't run it in a couple of weeks, but it's one of their favorite plays. They want to run it. I said, like I said, you guys have been on this field all this time. If you guys want to run it, let's do it. So it just Venice made a great defensive play. They blitzed us. They caught us off guard, and hats off to them. I wish I'd have chosen a different play, to be honest with you, and not to blame anybody. It's my call. I made a decision. I'm going to live with it. I'm not blaming anybody else but myself. But it is what it is, and but we still had a chance to win even after that. So
Yeah, that's for me, I'm a conservative. I'm like, hey, if the supporter in me was like, okay, let's go for 1, let's tie it up, right? But then the coach in me, because I watched a gang of high school football, gang of college. I'm like, look, if you go for it and you get it, everybody's happy.
right,
Everybody's happy. There's end of discussion. They're not going to second guess. Oh, you know what? Maybe we should have went to the PAT.
right,
No, you get the 2-point conversion. Everybody's happy. We're not having this conversation, right? And so it's a 50-50 chance. You either going to get in the end zone, and of course, like I said. So for me, the coaching side of it is like, go for 2. You got the final seconds. Their offense have been phenomenal, and I don't think we were able to stop them inside the 25. So yeah, we go ahead
right.
and tie it up. You got to think about the coin toss. You got to think about the 25, who's going to get the ball first, right? And then just our ability to not, our defense was, neither defense in the fourth quarter was really working. Like, let's be honest.
Right.
So it's like, okay, 25, they might score. So, and then of course we would have the opportunity and vice versa. But the coach and me, you go for 2. You end it, that's it, game over. But it always doesn't work out that way. So let me ask you this, because there were some, I know you guys were upset, deeply upset. Players were upset. But for me, now I don't even know if you've heard this. This might be the first time that you've heard, some of the comments or some of the fans, saying, what they, oh, coach, you made the wrong call to this, that, and the other. What do you say to some of those folks who, of course, they're going to come after you, right? Because, you're the head coach. What do you say to some of those supporters, parents, uncles, dads, even moms, in making that kind of a call at the end of the game?
I mean, well, one, they're not on the field with us. They're not at practice with us on the field, So obviously, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback. It's easy to sit in the stands and say, what we should have done. Those kids are on the field fighting every single play. If the kid said, let's go for 5, I'd be like, back us up to the 15, let's go for 5 point. Like, I'm going to trust what the kids want to do. I tell the kids, this is your team. This is your legacy. 20 years from now, when you guys think back on your team, you guys are going to be there talking about it. I'm here to help you. I'm here to coach you. Ultimately, this is your team. It's how you guys want to, what you guys want to leave. The kids say, let's go for 2. Now, obviously, I have the ultimate decision. I'm the head coach. Yes, I've gained a lot of trust in my team to do the right thing. They all said, let's go for 2. They wanted to win this game, and that's what we tried to do. But I always say, if anybody wants an input, they're more than welcome to apply to be a coach and have input as much as they want. They're not. I've never had a parent in a meeting. I've never had a parent sit with me and watch film. I never had a parent game plan with me. That's between us, the coaches, and the kids. And like I said, we make mistakes. No coach is perfect. No player is perfect. And they don't really know what goes on day in and day out in every decision we make, every call we make. So it's really not fair to the kids to say that because they worked hard. And I feel like they see Venice's or another team's record and automatically think they should win. We should win. But we're the ones watching film. We see that these teams are playing other teams who are really good, and sometimes the record doesn't really show how good they are. So when they play us, it looks bad because we lose to a team that everybody thinks we should beat. So, unless you know the whole story and what goes into what we do, obviously there's parents who've played football. They know football. I'm not discrediting anybody, but they don't know what we do on a daily basis because obviously they haven't sat with me or the coaches and game plan or anything like that. So, like I said, I heard the yelling from the stands, and to do that is really not fair to the kids. They fought hard, and to place blame on anybody, it's not fair to them. I'm an adult. I could take it. It's whatever. But the kids were really upset, about that after the game, and I just feel bad. And like I said, I'm proud of them for coming back Monday and really having 3 really good days of practice, and they're ready for Friday night. And everything on Friday night's behind us now.
Absolutely. And for me, your initial thought, Monday morning QB, always hindsight, it's 2020, right? Yeah. In the moment, you're like, look, let's win this game. Let's win the game and go home. And again, if they got the 2-point conversion, if they didn't blitz, if Max caught the ball or Jack caught another deflected pass to us, if it's 2 points, we're not having this. And the parents are not going to say, well, they'll give you credit. They'll be like, okay, coach, good game, right? So, yeah, it is kind of unfair. And especially right there after the game to kind of yell some of those things. These boys work very, very hard. I know it because my boys, when they were there, I would take them to practice before they knew how to drive, take them to practice, watch the practice, and sometimes I would dialogue about, football stuff, just their mindset. And I know their coach had them engaged in the football game. And so one of the things I did, it was kind of good to see that everyone was kind of taking ownership for the loss, coach, this was on me. It was my loss. It's like, nah, you guys are a team. It's a team loss, right? No one lost it by themselves. It was just a team effort. You win as a team. Guess what? You're going to lose as a team. So, so there's that. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out because, again, if the 2-point conversion is made, we are good. Everyone's happy. We'll have a 7-1 record. Venice would have a 3-5 record, and we're good, right? But because of how they blitzed that last, they brought that blitz on. And
Right.
it is what it is what it was. So good game, coach. And as far as I'm concerned, you coached a hell of a game. Not only you, but the rest of the coaches. All you guys did a wonderful job for
For
homecoming.
sure.
It just didn't turn out in our favor. So
Right.
there's that. Now we talked about, and I don't. The JV team, they end up losing as well. It was a tough game. So they, they got us this weekend. They got us last weekend, I should say. But,
Yep.
there's more games next season. We can turnabout as fair play. We got them last year at their homecoming.
Yep.
So, we'll leave to, maybe we'll see each other in the playoffs. Who knows? Any last comments about Venice before we move on and preview the university football game?
No, I'm ready to move on. It was a long weekend. I couldn't sleep. My stomach was in knots. Um, we were away from the team until Monday, and then once practice started Monday, and we got going. And like I said, it's been a really good 3 days of practice. Venice is behind us. We watched the film at lunch Monday. Once the film turned off, we moved on to uni. So just looking forward to get back on track Friday. And I think if we play Pali football, it's we're going to see a different team Friday.
Okay, cool. All right. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have an ad playing in my ear, so I'm like, "What is this?" Okay. All right. So on a lighter note, I was talking to your significant other after the game, and she said, "Mr. Riley, you got to ask him about the new shoes, and you got to ask him about the new pants." And I'm like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" So you care to kind of indulge and tell us what happened with the new shoes?
I'm
As
very
opposed,
super.
as opposed to the old shoes that you were wearing during the season.
I'm very superstitious. So for the last 2 years or a year and a half, whatever, I during the day I wear one polo and gray sweats, white shoes. During the game, I switch my polo. I put on the same black pants, and then I wear my black and royal shoes. This is the first game that so the curse of the black, we lifted the curse of the black jerseys. So I figured I can, I don't have to be superstitious anymore. We moved on from that as well. I bought new shoes. They look nice. Bought some new pants. The other ones were kind of getting faded. So I got a new outfit, and then first game of my new change, we lose. So that's what that's about. Just
Yeah,
I
she
can't I
she
can't I
made
can't change anymore.
yeah she made sure she's like, yeah, you got to ask him about that. I was like, look, I'll ask about it after we talk about all the stuff, because she was trying to say, well, see, what she was saying was, I told him he should wear blah 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 blah. I was like, hey, I don't know. I'm not getting grown folks business, but I just thought kind of bring that up. All right, so we're done with Venice. Um, let's go ahead and preview the game now. Um, again, and so it's interesting that you talked about not looking totally at their record, because I had a dad or a supporter ask me on my way down to the field on Friday. He's like, hey, what's the line on the game? Are we gonna win? I was like, well, on paper, we're 6-1. They're 3-4. We've beaten some of the teams that they've played. So, but then ultimately, and I said, we're averaging 20 or 35 point, whatever, and I think they're averaging 35.3 or something. I was like, on paper, it's going to be a close game, but at the end of the day, the boys have to play, right?
Right.
So then, we come to this game right here, right? And looking at these stats, and I'm like, okay, these stats look good. It's like, okay, they look kind of favorable. But at the end of the day, the boys still have to show up and play the game. So with that being said, Palisades is averaging 36.9, and University's averaging 8.3. So that alone right there says, okay, that's a good measure. But again, to your point, Coach, the boys have to hop on the field and play. Let me see. Team comparison. Palisades is running 146 yards. They're averaging 35, right? Passing yards, you see it, 222, room 222. Y'all remember room 222? That's going back. That's going back way in the 60s. Anyway, passing yards, 28. So you can see the disparity in, oh, God, dog it. Okay, hold on, guys. Let me see. I think we're still, okay. I just got another notification. So let me hurry up. So again, speak to just what you see here and the preparation that the boys have made so far this week in preparing for University High School. We see that they have a squad, but they're not doing so much. So again, you think the boys are going to be, ready? Or are they going to think that they're, the stuff, think they're it? Or, how do you kind of get their mindset wrapped around some of these stats and just preparing them to play this team on Friday?
No, I don't show stats to another team. To our team. I just, I tell the kids every day, we're our biggest competitor. If we play ourselves every week, if we don't make mistakes, I don't think there's a team that can beat us. And the two losses that we've had crucial mistakes, big huge penalties, at the wrong time, mental mistakes, physical mistakes, and if we just eliminate those, I don't see an issue with us not losing another game. We just have to play our game. But we obviously show film because we have to see what they're doing. But as far as stats goes, I don't show it. We just got to go out there and play. Now, if we do it, like I said, if we do exactly what we're supposed to do, stats don't matter. We just go out there and put as many points on the board as we can. Um, I will give a challenge to them. Uni hasn't scored a point in league yet, so I don't want us to be the first points they score in league. So that could be a challenge to the defense. And, I think that the defense really steps up when they're challenged or there's a goal in mind. And I feel like they'll play as hard as they can this week, knowing that, if we give up a point to Uni, it's going to be a problem for a long time.
No, and I like that challenge, right? Because again, you're not being cocky. You're just making an observation. That, hey, boys, I'm just throwing this out there. They haven't scored in league. Do you really want to be the first, league
Exactly.
team to allow this? So that's, again, you're going back to good coaching, good observation. That is a motivating factor for them to play hard, to play fast, and not allow them to score points. Now, we already know we can score points. That's not the issue. No one is questioning our ability. But I think in this particular contest, this would be a wonderful challenge for the defense to say, hey, look, try not to let these boys score because they haven't scored,
Right.
right? Because again, we have two games on paper. We should win, but the boys still have to play the game. So that's very important. And, I'm just looking at some of the other stats here in terms of passing yards and receiving total yards per game. And so, again, we're leading across the board. So I think that's a wonderful challenge that, you put on the defense, maybe issue a challenge to the offense if you can think of one, right? So,
Well, we've been trying to score 70 all year, so that's been a challenge all year. And to be honest with you, if we've got into the red zone 2 or 3 times a game and don't score, that's 21 points. And we've been knocking on the door of 60, 70 points. So not saying that we're going to get it this week, but I just feel like if we do everything we're supposed to do, it'll take care of itself.
absolutely. And so, again, that's a wonderful challenge. You got the offense. Hey, check it out. If y'all could get 70 points, that'll be a wonderful team effort. And
Right.
then defense. They haven't scored in league, so you might not want to allow them or let them score. So I think on both sides of the ball, those are wonderful challenges. Hopefully they can step up. We'll see this coming Friday. And, I can't think of a challenge for the special teams other than to not drop
To
drop
not
out.
let them get to the 50 every time. That's
Absolutely. Don't let them get to the 50 and don't have any mishaps, with the returners, right? So
right.
those are some wonderful challenges. And so I'm so glad that we had this conversation. I know your stomach was fit to be tied. I know I live with one of your coaches. He was like, oh man, yeah, the game was on me because I did it. I'm like, man, it's a team effort. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
You didn't lose it, by
Yeah.
yourself. It's a team.
Right.
It's a whole bunch of y'all guys over there trying to be on the same page, especially at the end of the football game where you got a lot of things. And then, I know we said we were done with Venice, but we almost had a couple of seconds. We got a couple of seconds. Almost made something happen too, Coach. How did you feel about the overall turnout with the final 2 seconds of the game?
Well, the rules go, the clock's supposed to stop on extra points. So I don't know if the referees thought it was extra point. The 2 seconds was off and the game was over. They were walking to the locker room. So we had to go on the field and get them to come back. 2 seconds, you never know. You might get onside, you never know. And, somebody said we should pooch it to get a little closer, in case we get it. So we put our fastest guys on that side. Jack made a great kick, pushed it right exactly where it needed to be. I don't know if the guy was even expecting it to even come to him. So he wasn't ready, and our guys fly down there. And to be honest, it's something we practice every Thursday. We practice onside enhanced team every Thursday. We practice pooching it, regular onside. So on one side, it's not surprising that happened. On the other side, you don't expect it to really happen. So that type of situation where you get onside, you get it on the opposite team's 20 with 1 second left to win the game. I've actually never seen that happen before. It's usually just the onside to the 50. So yeah, I always say there's a little bit of luck and skill in it. When you practice it, luck happens. But like I said, the guys are finally realizing the game is not over till the clock hits 0. You got to play every single second. And I think that moment they realized that, and I think it's going to help us going forward. We just have to figure out how to win close games. We've been in 2 of them. We're 0-2. It might, I think being in that experience, having that experience will help us going forward if that, situation presents itself again. So we're learning. We're learning how to stay in the games. We're learning how to come back from games. We're learning how to hold leads. And once we put it all together, I think we can go far.
Absolutely, Coach. No, super proud of this team. They fought hard, and again, we had a couple of chances, and so again, we go for the 2, we get it, end of story. But the resiliency of this team, I think is great. You can't keep them down, and so again, I know it was a tough loss. But like Mr. Kearney said, this week we bounced back, mental toughness, hard work, and dedication. And then I think he also put up another comment, facts. And I think the facts came at the end of our discussion about the coaches and the comments coming from the stands and not being fair to the boys and what they did, and also to you guys as well, because you guys it's not, this is high school football. It's not like where you guys are getting paid a whole bunch of money. A lot of this is volunteer, and so you guys are doing a phenomenal job with the boys, making a difference, having them to realize their mistakes and trying to get better. Not just in every game, but every practice session that you guys have. So, you guys are doing your thing. Y'all have the best, utmost respect from me, and I'm sure a lot of the fans and a lot of the parents as well. It's unfortunate that a small amount of thoughts can kind of taint or set a mood for all of the supporters. All of the supporters didn't feel like that. They were like, "Hey, we lost the game. It is what it is. Let's come back and bounce again." So again, Mr. Davron Kearney, I appreciate you hopping on and being part of the conversation. And you guys who are watching, if you're watching live, y'all can always drop in some comments as we go through. Don't be shy. We don't bite. We put on our pants legs just like y'all, one leg at a time. So it's all good. So y'all can engage us in the conversation next time, and definitely next week when we go live after we get this win. I'm just going ahead and trying to be prophetic, and we're gonna get this win. The boys are going to score as many points as they need to. The defense is going to hold them. So we're going to have a wonderful win against University. As always, Coach, any last comments that you want to give as we talk about, this University game?
Yeah, I just want to say I do appreciate all the parents and all the support, and I do appreciate the passion too. It was a hard fought game. I didn't take it. I don't take it personal. We all get upset. We all say things in the moment. I just hope that we continue to support the kids. The season's not over. We still have 2 more games, and whatever division we go into, we still have a chance to bring home a trophy. So yeah, we lost a game we should have lost to a rival. It hurt, but the bigger picture is a championship and bringing that home. So there's still a lot of football, I believe, to be played, and we still need that support. To the coaches who, like you said, volunteer their time um, away from their families. Taking time away from their job to be with the kids, and they do the best that they can. And we're not we're not full time coaches where we can look at film and sit around for 8 hours and prepare. We do what we can when we can, and we try to put the kids in the best safe situation. And like I said, we still have hopefully 7 more games to play. And if that happens, or 6 more games, sorry. And if that happens, we're champions. So let's just continue to support the kids in a positive way. But I do appreciate everybody.
Absolutely. Well said, Coach. Well, other than that, Coach, appreciate you hopping on. We look forward to going live again next Monday, resuming our regular programming schedule. And so I'm going to put you in the green room. And again, appreciate you hopping on, talking about just the passion, just the dedication that the coaching staff has and that you guys have to the football team. So really appreciate you, Coach.
No, thank you too. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey guys, we had another wonderful, wonderful interview and another wonderful conversation with Coach Smith. We did have a couple of technical difficulties, but hopefully we'll be able to put this whole video together and, you guys can see it in its entirety. So again, just want to thank Coach Smith, his availability tonight on the Wednesday night to kind of hang out with us and kind of talk about, the Venice game and then also preview the University football game this coming Friday. JV game is at 4 o'clock. Our game is at 7 o'clock. Any updates that will happen, we'll make sure we'll send them out to you guys on social media or email, whatever the case might be. So I am Mr. Riley, coming live to you from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side, where tonight the West Side is looking forward to bounce back with mental toughness, hard work, and dedication. For Coach Smith, I'm Mr. Riley. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. And as always, go Pali. See you on Friday. Peace out.